Hey everybody, welcome to World Habitat Day. It's so exciting to see everybody online, and I'm really glad you could join us. It's a little different for us today. We don't have the hammers in the background and we aren't able to see each other in person, but it's sure wonderful to see everybody joining us. Today's the first of 4 days of events that we're going to have, and so I hope you'll be able to join us later in the week for other events. At Circle Up, we always talk safety, and today we're going to talk technology at Circle Up. Be sure you mute yourself because we don't want a lot of background noise and disturbances when people are talking. So if everybody could do that, we really appreciate it. You can use your chat box to contact us, and we'll be taking questions and other things. And I'm going to say that we want to have the same energy and fun that we have at any other World Habitat Day. So, you know, this is fun. You can clap your hands. We're going to see some great videos and have conversations with folks that are going to be great. Extra tabs on your computer. If you close those down, things will run better. We'll have less glitches. And you're going to see some footage today I do want to tell you about that was shot pre-COVID-19. So if you see folks without masks or not social distancing, you'll know that it's older footage. We've been taking safety so seriously, and those of you that were just chatting heard Marge say sometimes she was the only one working in the house, and we appreciate that. I want to thank all of you for everything you've done during COVID, for everything we've done over the years. But these have been especially trying times, and so it's terrific to join with habitats and people around the world today to celebrate World Habitat Day. As many of you know, World Habitat Day is a day where we recognize where everyone has the right to safe, decent housing. Here and at other habitats, hundreds of people build houses, homes, and community. Today our community is online, but that doesn't make it any different than otherwise. The impacts of COVID on affordable housing have been unbelievable. It's really raised an awareness that everything we've been talking about here in Tucson for 40 years and Habitat International for 45 years is so true. Our homes have become our workplaces, our homes have become our schools. It's the place we have for safety. So imagine not having a safe, affordable home. That's why we're here today, to celebrate the recognition by the United Nations and by all of us that everyone needs a safe place to call home. Well, we don't want to miss the experience today, so we're going to offer really great videos. We have some guest speakers, and so I'm really excited that you've joined us all. Always we start with a dirt lot or with almost nothing, and then we raise walls, and it's so exciting. Well, today we're going to do it virtually. So we've got a quick video to show you.
Welcome to Carter's Court. We've got 19 lots we're building out here. We've got 5 different floor plans. Behind me is one of the finished products. It's 90 days out from closing. We're just about to get this one done. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Let's take a look. Welcome inside the house. We don't have our volunteers, and it saddens me that we are not loaded with volunteers. One of the best experiences at being at Habitat is having our volunteers. But if you want to close your eyes for a moment and think about what it's like inside this house. Soon, within 90 days, there's going to be a family running around this house making memories for the rest of their lives. But while I'm standing in here at this stage, you get the volunteer experience. There's a scent of primered paint, sawdust flying throughout. We've opened all the windows to get a slight breeze. There's very little noise, but the noise you do hear is the clatter of hammers outside and the wind blowing more sawdust inside the house. We've got humidity in here, and it's a brisk 101 degrees outside.
It's not just our home, it's their home too. Just somewhere for them to root in, you know, and just having a sense of belonging.
The hand up and now understanding what it is, it made me more proud of my house. You know, in the beginning, you kind of felt like, oh, I couldn't go the traditional route. I couldn't get the house with the bank and the mortgage and everything. But now that I know what a hand-up is and I understand Habitat, it makes me proud that we were able to do it.
Home to me means a place of safety. I love place where you can go and be yourself with your family, friends. It's the definition of home is you can have a house, but where you are, you make your home, you know, and that's what I believe. That to me is home is the atmosphere. It's what you build around you and who you have around you in your safe place.
Home is, to me, is a place of stability, a place of security, as opposed to living on the street.
Yeah, safe and secure. You say, oh, I'm finally home.
I know many of you watching are donors, sponsors, corporations, and independent volunteers. Behind me are the houses, and about now, we would be asking you to bend down, keep your back straight, and use your legs to raise the walls up. Thank you very much, because without you, we could not do this.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome over to World Habitat Day. My name is Lisa Cooke, and I am the board chair here in the Habitat Tucson. Looking forward to seeing everybody virtually. Just want to go through a quick history for Habitat, and wanted to let you know that 40 years ago, after a conversation with Millard Fuller, Habitat Tucson was founded by George Tolman and Jerry McFarland and representatives from 4 local churches. And since 1980, thousands of people have been involved in building over 450 homes here in Tucson area. And as of today, we are looking forward to starting and building quite a few more homes. Today, our purpose remains the same as giving a hand up to all these families that are coming out and who need a good home to live in. Helping families build strength, stability, and self-reliance through home ownership is a goal that we have. Our theme today is Home is Everything. Today, a home is more important than ever before. And as T was saying earlier, home doesn't mean the same thing that it meant 6 months ago. With the spread of the COVID-19 virus, families are facing both a public health as well as an economic crisis. The longer it takes Arizona to recover from this virus, the more this pandemic becomes more of a housing emergency. So therefore, Habitat has been able to help and provide this information and get people more housing. Thanks to the hundreds of supporters like you, we've been able to ensure and continue building of safe, affordable homes here in southern Arizona. And just this month, we're starting again 6 new additional homes. Let us now go and meet some additional homeowners here.
I was introduced into Habitat Tucson at my final year in the nursing program at the Pima Community College. It's a very good program that's helping people up, not hands out. So I'm looking at my neighborhood. I see different phases. We built some lasting relationships during the journey, like my neighbor across the street, Zach, my neighbor on my left, Mickey, and the lady on the extreme corner of the street, and Ranuka. So we are now families, yeah.
And we walk around and I keep saying, I walked in that house, I volunteered in that house, I did that in that house.
Yeah.
So.
And especially meeting my home partner, who was Pete Morgan. We are like family now. I can see how they embrace diversity, how they help people, hands up, and how we really reuse our resources judiciously into building homes rather than some other companies that spend most of their resources on vacation or stuff like that. No, not Habitat. Habitat really, really cares about people. Habitat is all about bringing people together and helping people who are really deserving and need help. Well, affordable home housing matters a lot because if you look at statistics in the United States, a great chunk of people's wage, their incomes go into the rent. So I remember like over half of my pay used to go into like rent. Now it's like less than that with more space.
And it's also good, Habitat don't check for credits. As a first-time home buyer, most companies need credit for it. Like before we came to Habitat, we never had no credit, so it was a good help.
I don't think I would have been able to work if I had lived in my 2-bedroom, 1-bath at this time because of the social distancing and proximity. And for someone like me who is a nurse, I work in a nursing home. I take care of elderly people who are really susceptible to COVID. And so it will have been difficult for me. But now, it's indeed a blessing. I always pray for Habitat. Every time we pray for Habitat. Now when I get home, when I get down my car, I go through the garage, take off my scrub, put it in the laundry, go to the shower room, take a shower, dress up before I start talking to the kids or giving them a hug or talking to anyone. That would have been difficult in the apartment. Home means more than a house. It means love. It means a place to grow with your family, to teach them love in the right direction. Our hopes for our community is for everybody to grow in love and harmony, development, and people helping out each other and helping us and when needed.
What a powerful message from the Berry family. It's what we're here for today, and we're excited that you're joining us. Today, I have the honor of introducing Wendy Erica Werden. Wendy's at Tucson Electric Power, our partners for more than 20 years, and she's come to talk, she's going to join us to talk about volunteering. I've known Wendy Erica for a really long time, and certainly we're excited to have our partnership with Tucson Electric Power and all of our major sponsors. We love having groups out. Right now it's not possible, and but those of us that have been around on big build days will know that some of our corporate partners that bring out big teams cause quite a bit of commotion as they're moving forward. The competition gets fierce, and who can get the first wall up and how far we can get on construction day. That same enthusiasm comes from our sponsors right now during COVID, and so we're really happy to have Wendy Erica with us. Wendy Erica, can you hear me?
I can hear you, T. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. So good to see you.
Good to see you too. And in the spirit of having some fun, I even went and got my construction TEP hard hat that we've always had. My little WOO, which is my initials, or I think that T, you were with me when I put this tape on at our last build that we had together. And I mean, you know, that's what today is all about, is celebrating the incredible work that Habitat for Humanity does. The partnership with TEP and Habitat for Humanity goes back more than 20 years. We have an incredible volunteer team who literally fight over spots to get on some of the build days that we have with Habitat for Humanity. One of the other things that I really like to share is, so I've got a great picture here. I want to show it up to you. So this is our last TEP team that we all did together on the women's build. So many great and different ways that our volunteers really have come, and T, thank you for the opportunity. And just to let people that are joining us here today know that really volunteering starts at the top at Tucson Electric Power Company. Our CEO, Dave Hutchins, recently, within the last couple months, got promoted to our parent company. And our new CEO, who's been with the organization since she was an intern, Susan Gray, who is now the president of TEP and is a volunteer, has been to our Habitat events. And she is as excited as we are to make sure that all of our good relationships continue.
Wendy, Erica, we're so glad to have you. And I was hoping you could share with us how you really got the volunteering bug. I know you have a really heartwarming story about that.
Well, so I kind of grew up in a volunteering family. My mom and dad were both big volunteers in our church, led a lot of the church activities, but my mom especially would volunteer in, and still now at 80, goes and volunteers at a food bank down in Cape Coral, Florida, and is always telling me about her adventures and the things that she does. And it's what keeps her, and it was so fun listening to all the people chatting and getting and reconnecting with each other, all of these volunteers, T, who are with us today on the call, because it's what keeps us all young. It's what keeps us all active, and that's what it's all about.
Wendy, Erica, we've had a lot of volunteering experiences together, and you've been out with the TEP team dozens and dozens of times. Is there a favorite moment you have, or something you really look forward to each year for World Habitat Day?
Well, and I think it was mentioned a little bit earlier as well, is that when you get to the build site, it's early in the morning, it's dark. Usually it's a lot cooler than it is this year. I mean, come on, let's get this summer over with. Nobody wants these 100+ degree days anymore. We're ready for some cooler weather. But you get to the site and it's dark, and you get your donut and you put your hard hat on and you put your tape that has your name on it, and you go over with your team and you get introduced to your foreman or foreperson who is going to teach you how to go through the day safely. And it's all very horizontal. You know, you're walking onto that bare pad, and it's just like a blank slate. And you know, they teach you how to hold the hammers, and they show you exactly how everything toes together and how the hammer, you know, nails go in. And all of a sudden you get that rhythm, and people get excited, and you see all the teams, and you see the framing, and you see everything. And then sooner, like, you know, no time goes by, and all of a sudden you see the first wall go up. We all compete. We all hope we're the first ones to be that team that gets that first wall up. But once that first wall goes up, everybody just gets this, pardon the pun, but electricity, T. I mean, it's just exciting, and everybody stops and everybody claps, and you see that first framing wall go up, and then you see the next one, and you see the next one. And to me, I mean, having it go from that very horizontal blank slate to seeing that wall goes through. And I think that one of the things that Fatimu said, where, you know, her neighbors have said, well, I've worked on your house, and I've walked through your floor plan. I mean, it's that sense of community and that sense of shared love for home and putting those walls up. I mean, I know that's what keeps our volunteers coming back year after year.
You know, I've shared with you in the past, one of my favorite World Habitat stories is our last two houses at Copper Vista 2, our last World Habitat Day. And Tucson Electric Power was right across the street from Tucson Medical Center. You both have very skilled volunteers that have been coming out for years. And there was a hot competition. I've never seen two houses progress so quickly. And our volunteers that are the team leaders were on it. And going back and forth, and TEP was really moving ahead, and then several members of the Tucson Medical Center team had to leave to go to work. They were, you know, nurses or technicians, other people that had a shift. And the competition switched to community really quickly when TEP sent a few members over to make sure that the TMC house caught up. It was really, really heartwarming to see that although we're all competitive out there, it's really the mission and getting those houses for families that is what is really important to us. Why do you think it's affordable housing?
Because we're all, you know, I think at the end of the day, and, you know, again, some of the families that we were introduced to over the video is, I mean, look at how challenging COVID is right now. And all of us are so fortunate that we're all Zooming from our homes. We have this wonderful place that is our respite. It's where we're raising our family. It's where our crazy dogs are probably barking at the Amazon delivery driver. You know, and to think about, you know, a family right now that's maybe being faced with foreclosure. You know, they've talked a lot about how important, you know, the affordable housing is for years, and COVID has done nothing but brought that to the forefront about how important it is to not have so much of your family's income going toward, you know, your housing costs, and what Habitat does to be able to provide that to families. And it's not only providing that safe, secure housing and that affordable housing, but it's teaching them how to be good stewards of that home. It's giving them the training to understand the finances, and, you know, if you see a leak, not to let things go. It's also very important to have the energy efficiency, and how wonderful, you know, congratulations to you again for having been a Tucson Electric Power Company Brady Award winner for not only building these people, you know, a wonderful, beautiful home, but an energy efficient home that'll help them be able to afford that for years in the future. So it's not just the mortgage, it's everything that goes into making that house affordable for them and their entire family.
Yeah, I always like to say that the better we build the house and the more energy efficient, the more sustainable it is over time. And certainly you all have helped us with that. Wendy, Erica, how do you see TEP's role as we hit this kind of new future where we aren't having large numbers of people come out and build? And I know you've been doing some work on how to keep folks connected.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I mean, we're always looking for the next opportunity, and I think, you know, T, I'd love to ask you. We're volunteers and we're ready. I did hear a couple people, you know, in the chat as we were getting ready, and they're getting connected, that there are people that are able to come down and do some very, very small events. But I think all of us are just doing what we can with, you know, with socially distancing and following those safety protocols to come down. But I mean, we want to help you. So, I mean, that's probably my question back to you. How can we all be good volunteers and fundraisers and really help Habitat continue to accomplish its mission?
Well, you know, in the new reality, we have a limited number of staff and volunteers that can be on site for safety reasons, because I always say part of building community and hope right now is not contributing to the problem of the spread of the coronavirus. But there are lots of ways people can get connected, and they can go to our website or give us a call, and we'll connect them to an experience that's right for them, either at the store, the build site, or here in the office. So that, I mean, there's still lots of opportunities to do things. And I know Tucson Electric Power gave us a long-term sustainable gift to help us really beef that up and get things going. I want to check now with Melissa and see if there are any questions or that there's anything coming in the chat boxes that either Wendy, Erica, or I can answer.
Hi, T. Happy World Habitat Day.
Thank you.
So we have a question. What does it mean to give a hand up and not a hand out?
Oh, that's a really great question. At Habitat, we don't give houses away. A lot of people think you get the house for free, sort of like winning the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. Our home buyers purchase the houses from us at an extremely low rate mortgage and a very affordable mortgage. and they pay their house payment based on their current salary. So a family of 4, at closing, we would calculate what 1/3 of their total income is. That would be their house payment, but they do pay that loan off over time. They also provide sweat equity. They work out on the work site, building their own house or another family's house, or they can work in the store or here in the office. But every adult puts in 250 hours of sweat equity. They have their mortgage, and they're really working together to build community. So rather than a handout, we give people an opportunity for a hand up and just get them on their way to ending generational or cyclative poverty. Are there other questions, Melissa?
The only other question was, how does a safe home impact a family's life, especially now?
Well, certainly we know that it allows people to stay safe. And we heard Barry talk about his job as a caregiver, as a nurse working with elderly patients, and the process he has to go through to make sure he's not transmitting the virus back to his family. But it's health outcomes. There are a variety of educational outcomes. We know when people have safe, sustainable housing, that it affects their jobs, it affects their medical condition, it lowers stress. There are stack of studies as high as our roof that tell us that housing and medical outcomes, housing and education, housing and criminal recidivism are all reduced, or stable housing reduces all of those. So it's really a critical part. I like to quote Carmen Cueva, one of our board members and faculty at Pima Community College, who always tells her students, we're here today, we're able to participate on this, we're able to celebrate World Habitat Day because we had a safe place to stay last night. We have a safe place to eat our food, we have a safe place to have our pets, we have a safe place now during the coronavirus crisis to be at home and shelter in place, to educate our children. Our homes have become our houses of worship, all of those things. So safe housing means all of that. All right, well, I don't see any more questions. I think we see that home is critical. Home is critical for all of us, and especially for families struggling day to day. I saw a quote that came out from Jonathan Reckford that said, the uncertainty that each of us is facing today in the face of the Corona-19 crisis is the uncertainty that our low-income families face on an ongoing basis. And that's really something to reflect on. So today we want to thank Wendy Erica, of course, for joining us, Lisa Cooke, and our Habitat families, and of course, all of our sponsors, the Tucson Foundations, Roche, Wells Fargo, TMC, TEP, Geico, the Bank of America, and the Stonewall Foundation, in addition to the thousands of volunteers and funders that we have. So thank you all for joining us, and I hope you can join us for programs later for World Habitat Day.
Habitat has a heart for the people, for those people or individuals who are sidestepped usually by the community, by those who are at large, by those who have all that they need. And Habitat for Humanity, I mean, it's nothing like helping a family gain stability by building a house that they can live in, they can feel secure in, that they can actually grow in, and that they can possibly pass off to another generation. Or they can use their house, the Habitat house, as a step up for another community. But it gives, it gives people who are left behind, the less fortunate, a chance, to have the American dream. And I think Habitat for Humanity, you guys got it going on. You really got it going on.
And one of the things I like about Habitat is that no matter what your ability level, there's something for you to do, some way to contribute. I've always preached that one has to put one's faith into action. So Habitat is a natural for that. Part of what keeps me inspired is when you go to one of the house dedications, you meet the family and you hear more about their story, and that's always inspirational. And it's always amazing to see later on how their lives have changed for the better.
Serving others to me means giving of your talents and time and energy in any way that's, that you can. We don't always have time, we don't always have energy, and we don't always have extra money that we could donate. But serving others is calling us to do what we can when we can. We are serving our community, and we never know how they will appear in our lives. But when people have a place to live, where they feel comfortable, where they feel safe, where they feel like they can grow, they can give. And they give in all kinds of different ways.
Well, I think serving others just makes you feel better. It's better for you when you're serving other people.
To me, it feels good to be able to help people, and you see the reaction from them, a smile on their face, a thank you from them.
You get back as much as you give. And that's really true at Habitat. Whatever you put into something, Habitat gives back 100-fold. And it inspires me always to learn new things and do different things and be involved.
One of the reasons why I love volunteering for Habitat is not only because of their commitment to affordable housing, but it's because they give people the tools necessary to complete the process.
Thank you all for joining us for our first virtual, hopefully last virtual World Habitat Day. There are events later in the week, and we hope you'll join us. And I want to say personally, it's so exciting seeing all of you. We miss our volunteers. We miss our Habitat family, and we look forward to the day when we can all be together again. There are going to be a few short videos, and at the end, a great video on how you can get further involved. But thank you all for joining us, and happy World Habitat Day.
Housing affordability is really important at Wells Fargo. Our work with Habitat for Humanity has let us bring homeownership opportunities to thousands of low-income families across our nation. Our philanthropy of almost $100 million over several years, plus our volunteer labor, almost 2 million hours in 2019 alone, has made such a difference in people's lives and in communities.
What inspires me most in volunteering is seeing the smiles of the volunteers, the smiles of the individuals that we're helping out. You never know who you're going to touch with just one simple gesture.
I think volunteers make a huge impact. They give their time, they give their expertise, they give their hearts.
It's part of our core values, and we love to be part of the community. We are part of the community. I live only a couple miles away from here, so this is my neighborhood, this is my backyard. And you come back and see what was an empty lot now has a house and now has a family in it.
For me, I'm passionate about Habitat because I enjoy helping people. I enjoy seeing these families when they get their homes. I enjoy working with the volunteers, and most of all, I enjoy that these families get their home. They get to create lasting memories and create stability and hope, and it's just a great organization to be a part of. Volunteers can get involved at our construction sites. You can help us at our Habit store. You can become a family partner, which is someone who mentors our family on their journey to home ownership. You can help us with admin, data entry. You can shop at our Habit store. You can do all kinds of different things. Come to our events, join our events as a corporate group or a youth group or a faith group or an intern. Any of that, you guys can come join us. We have tons of opportunities at Habitat. Also, if you're not able to physically volunteer with us, there's other ways that you can get involved. You can lend your time, talents, and treasures. You can donate to our Habit store. You can even talk to your neighbors about how to get involved with Habitat, or tell them about all the great programs that we have to offer. So we definitely look forward to having you out. And as any Habitat volunteer knows, or as any volunteer Habitat has ever told you, what you're doing, you're putting your time and talents and your skills to good work. So join us today. We would love to have you.